Hi guys, how are you? I miss you guys. It's Miss Kelsey here. I'm going to read some of your favorite books that we love. The first one is There's a Bird on Your Head. There is? What? There's a bird on your head. Piggy! Is something on my head? Yes. There's a bird on your head. There's a bird on my head? Ah! Is there a bird on my head now? No. Now there are two birds on your head. What are two birds doing on my head? They're in love. The birds on my head are in love? They are lovebirds. Lovebirds. How do you know they are lovebirds? They are making a nest. Two birds are making a nest on my head? Why would two birds make a nest on my head? I'm afraid to ask. Do I have an egg on my head? 1, 2, 3. You have 3 eggs on your head. I like how he's using the trunk. I do not want 3 eggs on my head. Then I have good news. The eggs are gone. The eggs are hatching. Hatching? The eggs on my head are hatching? They have hatched. Now I have 3 baby chicks on my head and 2 birds and a nest. I do not want 3 baby chicks, 2 birds, and a nest on my head. Where do you want them? Somewhere else! Why not ask them to go somewhere else? Ask them? Ask them. Okay, I will try asking. Excuse me, birds, will you please go somewhere else? No problem. It worked. Bye. Now there are no birds on my head. Thank you, Piggy. Thank you very much. You are welcome. Here's the pigeon. All right, the next book we're going to read is The Book with No Pictures. This is a book with no pictures. It might seem like no fun to have someone read you a book with no pictures. It probably seems boring and serious, except here is how books work. Everything the words say, the person reading the book has to say. No matter what. That's the deal, that's the rule. So that means even if the words say, flork. Wait, what? That doesn't even mean anything. Blurf. Wait a second, what? This isn't the kind of book I wanted to read. And I have to say every word the book says? Uh-oh. I am a monkey who taught myself to read. Hey, I'm not a monkey. And now I'm reading you this book with my monkey mouth and my monkey voice. That's not true. I'm not a monkey. Yes, I am a monkey. Also, I'm a robot monkey. What? And my head is made of blueberry pizza. Wait a second. Is this a whole book? Is this whole book a trick? Can I please stop reading? Or can I stop reading, please? No? And now it's time for me to sing you my favorite song. A song? Do I really have to sing a glug, 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 my face is a bug and I eat breakfast right off the rug? What? This book is ridiculous. Can I stop reading yet? No. There are more pages. I have to read the rest. My only friend in the whole wide world is a hippo named Boo Boo Butt. Boo Boo Butt? And also, this kid I'm reading, the kids I'm reading this book to are the best kids ever in the history of the entire world. Oh, really? That's true. And these kids are the smartest kids too, because these kids chose this book even though it had no pictures. Because kids know that this is the book that makes grown-ups have to say silly things and make silly sounds like, oh no, here it comes. Blaggity blaggity glibbity globbity glibbity beep boop boop boop. But donkey face. Oh my goodness. Please don't ever make me read this book again. It's so silly. In fact, it's completely and utterly preposterous. Next time, please, 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 please choose a book with pictures. Please? Because this is just too ridiculous to read. The end. Bonk! I didn't want to say that. That's a funny one. All right, we're going to do one more book. Eat a Twist Scientist. Ada Marie said not a word until the age she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down until she conked out at night. Her parents were frazzled but tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not quite cry. She took a deep breath and simply asked, "Why?" Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a grandfather clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside of your nose? She started with why and then what, how, and when. But bedtime she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her day's parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." Her parents kept up with our high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. Ada was busy the first day of spring testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie!" said Ada, which got her to thinking, what is that source of the terrible stinking? And how does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and chapped on her chin. She started at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from her dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. And zowie! The stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2. It's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" Ada Marie, to the thinking chair. Now, by the time we count to 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why, Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You ruined our supper. You made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once again could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Our mess is a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked 2. And each of those led her to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. Her parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair was now the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out. And this is what they did, because that's what you do. When your kid has a passion and a heart that is true, they remade their world, and now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asked lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. And for that smell, what can Ada Twist do? But she learned all she can when with her friends in grade 2. Will they discover that stink that curls the toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows? All right, that was the last book I'm going to read today. Tomorrow, we're going to do a line time where we all get to see each other. I really miss you guys. I hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you tomorrow.